man, there's so much community stuff happening, and it's not just about creating this, women's thing. It's more about getting more people into motorcycling. And, it's like, well, that's just a place for people to meet up and be comfortable and, to get them to go do other things. Like, we don't want them just to come to Babes Ride Out. I want them to go to the stakeout events. I want them to go to Mama Tried, and I want them to go to, motorcycle shows too. Like, we are looking to normalize it as much as possible. We don't want to be seen as a women's motorcycling. It should just be motorcycling. My name is Ashmore Ellis, and I'm co-founder of Babes Ride Out. With Babes Ride Out, it's women. With Sierra Events, it's everybody, creating that community to go off and do other things. We want to keep people on bikes long term, and we find by doing these events, it not only gives people something to look forward to, but it really does keep them on the bike, because once you go camping once and you meet your buds, you're going to go camping again later that year or even a few weeks later. So we still do that. Like, we like to go to these events, but we like to have our smaller stuff we do too on the side. So anything that keeps us on the bike or keeps other people on bikes, we're fully supportive of. Babes Ride Out is not just supported by a women's, platform. It's supported by everybody. So our stakeout events, it's amazing to see everyone just get excited about going to events and actually riding their motorcycles and being a part of that and camping and roughing it. Motorcycle camping's hard. You got to pack everything you need and, take care of yourself, set it up, break it down. That's just like your shelter. Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to think that's a good time, sleeping in the dirt, getting an awful night of sleep, riding all day, it's not easy. So anyone that comes to these events, that are camp outs or ride, I have a lot of respect for them, because it's not easy, but it's so much fun. I sold my first street bike to Anya, this little Yamaha that I was learning to ride on, and quickly outgrow something with a smaller CC, and she bought that bike, and we had met previously before, but just in passing and hey, how you doing kind of thing. So she bought my old bike, and then I ran into her at Born Free. And at that point, by the time I saw her next, she'd already, blew past that Yamaha and already was on a Sportster, and so was I. And we decided to go on just a girls' weekend, just hang out. Let's go ride our motorcycles and camp in the desert, no big deal. And through a text message chain, we decided to open it up to other people, other ladies, if they wanted to join. And that's what happened. We put on social media, on our personal pages, and we weren't sure what to expect, and nor did we care. Like, people show up, cool. If not, that's fine too. Meet at this Starbucks in the middle of Temecula, and we'll go from there. Looking back, it was probably the worst idea ever, because you don't know what you're getting into or what's happening, and now you're responsible for these people if they get hurt, or but you're just not thinking about those things. So it's not an event, it's not anything. It's just meeting up and going for a ride and camping in the desert for a night. All these people in Starbucks were like, you guys are a bike gang? What's this, a gang going on? There's a bike gang. And we're like, people like to ride motorcycles, and we're just going to go out to the desert for the night. And they were a little confused by that, but that's how it started. And once we got out there, it was just everyone's having so much fun. It was actually their idea to keep it going. Anya and I were still oblivious to what it was or what it could be. And through their encouragement, those 50 ladies who came out, and their enthusiasm, their willingness to be a part of it, made us want to do it the next year. So that's how that happened. And, that was back in 2013, which feels like yesterday, but man, we're coming up on 10 years in the next few years. And that's just crazy to even think about. But I've always loved motorcycle events. It's how I felt really connected to going and being a part of that community. It's going to the Born Frees and the shows like that, because I didn't know anything. I had, I wanted to be a part of this. I didn't know where to start. And it's funny because looking back, when I first got my motorcycle, I felt like such a poser, like they're going to find out that I don't know what I'm doing. And man, that's every single one of us. So just remembering how intimidated I felt at first just to be a part of it, it's just laughable now, in my opinion. And that's the reason why we love doing these motorcycle events, the campouts, the rides, because it really does bring people together to make that connection. So my husband and I started the stakeout events, which is Sierra Stakeout, which is up in the Gold Country. It's absolutely beautiful. and also in Floyd, Virginia. You may not have heard of it. It's a really small town on the Blue Ridge Parkway that's absolutely beautiful. So all the events that I want to be a part of to produce are true riding events. So, obviously there's a fun party at night, but grab a route map, get out there and ride your motorcycle, because that's where, to me, the most fun is. Well, it's hard. It's kind of hard to put in words how riding truly makes you feel. It's such a personal thing for me. I originally got into riding as a completely selfish thing. I did it for myself. I was in my mid-20s and I was like, what can I do to define this moment? And gosh, I was so broke. I can't even tell you how broke. Actually, I will tell you how broke I am. Let's be honest here. I was right under $30,000 a year, with a degree, living in California, living on basically beans and ramen. And somehow I saved up $300 to take the MSF class. And that's what I wanted to do. That was important to me. I wanted to do this one thing for myself. And I did it. I went by myself, took the class. I probably learned about 10% of the stuff I really needed to know. It's so fast, those classes are. But and the main emphasis they tell you is you've got to practice on your own. And so that's what I did. And that was my selfish time to myself, was on this old beat up Yamaha, learning the bike on my own in a parking lot, being terrified of every hill I saw because I was going to stall out. I was going to dump it in front of the coffee shop. I was going to, run out of gas, all the things, right? And all the things we go through, but you survive it, you get through it. And again, for me, it was just my private alone time. It was all about me. And I don't get that too often, especially now as a mom. There's always some kind of noise, right? Whether it be the TV on, or I have 5 different email accounts. There's a Twitter message here, and then an Instagram message here, and then Facebook, and that's all fine and well. But man, to tune that out and not have any noise whatsoever is the best. I just want silence and then be about me. And that's what motorcycling gives me. And I know that sounds really selfish when I say it out loud, but I think we all need that as humans. So for me, it's just a moment of clarity, calmness, and in the moment, which we don't get daily. It's just so easy too. Just open up my garage and throw on my jacket and just go out there. You don't have to plan a ride to have a good time. It's just that moment in time where I'm completely left alone, and it's all about myself at the moment. It's my sanity at times, a rough day, tragedy, anything that's weighing you down, especially down during these times. I cannot wait to get back on my bike, but just anything that has been bothering you, once you're on your bike, nothing matters. Nothing matters but you in that moment. And I can't name another thing I enjoy doing that allows me to feel that way. I got the bike for selfish reasons, right? I learned to ride motorcycling it was about me, but my favorite memories and why I love to ride now was about other people. So it kind of did a 180 on me, but definitely my favorite memories are going with my buds on a camping trip for 7 to 10 days, or going down to Mexico. There's nothing better than crossing the border and going down to Mexico. And I went to EDR a few times, which is absolutely the best time ever. It's kind of like adult spring break. It's just so much fun to cross over and ride down and be in the heat and just getting blasted by the sun, and you're with 500 other people. They're going down not all at the same time. It's all just kind of broken up, but no man or woman is left behind. And that's been cool to see more ladies attend events like that. Would I have gone to EDR when I first got my license? Me back then probably would have. I was a little bit more wild, I feel, but we want people to go to these events and be a part of them, because things like EDR, it may be intimidating because it's Mexico and you cross the border and you get your passport, but it's not when you're with that many people. You're with this community, you're with this group, and you're going to be okay. Traversing through California has always been incredibly fun. We did this one trip called the Y2K, and it was over a couple thousand miles, but we crisscrossed through California and went all the way up to almost Belden and then back down. But man, we were in Ojai, and then went up through Big Sur, and then crossed over to Bass Lake, and then up to Tahoe, and then to Belden, then back down to Mammoth, and then back to Kernville, and then home. And it was the most time. I remember I looked at some old photos the other day, and all my clothes fit into this, like, probably the size of a milk jug. It was like, but it was compressed. I was like, how did 10 days and that was all I took? That is amazing. Like, that makes you feel good too. It's, you don't really need much to go motorcycle camping. You need, like, the gear to camp in, which you can pack down pretty light, and a few changes of clothes and some underwear, and you're good to go. And that's pretty awesome to leave everything else behind. Your laptop, your everything, responsibilities, and just go out there. Because if you tell someone you're motorcycle camping and you're out, they're not going to bother you. They get it. So it's kind of like, I think it all started when I was 12 years old. My parents are going through a pretty nasty divorce, and I thought, I need to get out of here. But I'm 12. Like, well, what do? I just want to be away from everything and everyone. So I signed up to being a foreign exchange student, and I didn't tell my parents. And so all of a sudden they're getting notifications about how I need to get my visa and by my 13th birthday, and they blah, blah, blah. And my mom's like, what is this? I'm like, I'm going to Russia. And they're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So I signed up to be a foreign exchange student and go to Kazakhstan for a little while. And my parents are just like, whatever, like, we can't deal with you right now. Go, fine. You just go and do it. And so I did. And man, I can't believe my parents let me go as a 12-year-old just turning 13 to go stay in Kazakhstan and Russia for a while. Like, what parent would do that these days after they've seen the movie Taken? Geez. But I learned a lot. Like, it was a very big culture shock for me to see the world differently and be independent. And I wanted to travel more. And I wanted to, at that moment, I think that's where it really clicked, that I wanted to go into cultural anthropology for school. So I got my degree in cultural anthropology, which is a study of people, which is great. You really learn about, linguistics and everything about people to really understand, like, who we are and why we are. And it's fascinating. I remember one year, we're in the Catskills, we have 500 ladies all camped out. They've already begun cracking some beers. And all of a sudden I get this call, and it's the food truck. The food truck had hit a deer, which is super sad. But it blew up their transmission. And this has happened multiple times. I think that out of the, 20 plus events we've done, at least 3 times a food truck has either blown up or hit something or whatever. And here we are, like, no food. What do we do? And then we end up asking around town, and like, well, the fire department's used to coming out and cooking big meals or blah, blah, blah. But here comes the fire department, or these 2 old guys who work for the VA club. I can't remember how they were associated with the fire. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They came out, these 2 old men, and made burgers for everybody, like 500 ladies, and they were feeding them hamburgers. And the next night they came out and they made nachos. Like, they were so excited to help. No problems happened where we couldn't handle them, or people were very understanding of them at least. But yeah, that was definitely not fun. It's interesting. People are so interesting in how they react to certain things. You have some people are like, yeah, whatever, I'll just eat a granola bar out of my bag. And another person's like, I'm starving, I will die. You're like, you're fine. Talking to anyone out there that is younger who may think about getting on 2 wheels, start with a dirt bike. I wish I had. You learn so much about the bike, terrain. Your skill sets will be incredible once you transition to street. But if you're thinking about 2 wheels, never been, maybe try a dirt bike. If you don't have that opportunity, take the safety class. It's not going to hurt you. The instructors are wonderful. I know Harley-Davidson has a wonderful riding academy that we're promoting through our channels on Babes Ride Out. And every single lady that's tried it has had such an amazing opportunity. You learn so much. And just see if it's for you. And it's okay if it's not. If you get out there and you try this thing and it's not for you, you're scared of it. And you should be a little scared. I mean, anyone who's ridden a motorcycle for the first time and wasn't scared, I'd be shocked. But it's okay if it's not for you. But I would definitely recommend taking that safety class and just, understanding the mechanics of the bike. Maybe even before that, go to a motorcycle show. See what's going on in your community. I know chopcult.com has a lot of information about things that are going on all over the United States and the world for that matter. And just go check out an event and don't feel intimidated. Like, we've all been the new person before. You don't need to know what you're talking about. You don't need to know what you're even looking at. Just immerse yourself, like be open to it, and just see if it's a community that you feel like you want to be a part of. I guarantee it will be. But yeah, I would say, just support these shows, try them out. Even Babes, if you want to drive, like you can, drive your car there and check it out. Will you be bored? Maybe, because we're going to be riding. Just check it out, meet some other like-minded people. But I definitely recommend, if you're gonna really do it, take that safety class and invest in good gear. Once you decide you're gonna be a rider and you're gonna go on the street, absolutely look into a good riding jacket, because like I said, like you wanna protect yourself as much as possible from all these variables, but it just gives you more confidence on the bike as well when you're geared up properly, like full face helmet. Take it seriously, know there's risk, and, day by day, and just practice your ass off once you get that MSF stamp. Yeah, it takes time. You're not gonna get out there and get on a Harley or any bike and just be a badass or ripper. I mean, you're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna tip over your bike. You're gonna embarrass yourself. And like anything in life, you gotta earn it. And you gotta respect the bike too. It doesn't care who you are or what you do. It's a machine, so treat it as such.